Hello, Kasun. Kohoda.
Hello, Angelo. I was
How are
looking
you?
for you. Just right on time, ne?
Always on time. Always on time.
Always on time. Yes. So how's our friend?
Yeah, very good. Max, sei in linea?
Sì, sono qua.
Perfetto.
Mi vedi?
Max, Kasun, can everyone see Max?
Yes, Max. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great, Max. In fact, you're using as your first name as Max, no?
I'm sorry?
No, you're using your first name as Max.
Yeah, Max, my first name. Yeah, correct. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I caught
Okay.
Angelo.
Okay,
Shall
for the
we get
first time.
started?
Yeah, for the first time, also seeing this Angelo
Yes, yes.
with the
Yeah,
webcam.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. You asked for it, so here you get it.
Yeah.
You need do you need a razor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not staying at home, trying a new look.
Yeah, your new look is fantastic, I think.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, with this.
savage and wild. That's how they like
Yeah.
it. Shall we get started, Kasun? I know Max
Yeah,
is
yeah. Go ahead, Angelo. Yeah.
Okay. So who's in the hall today?
We
You go ahead.
we have Angelo. We have a lot of new faces as well as experienced traders as well. So we are very much keen to learn a lot about Wall Street, and we would like to know about his experience on that. That's
okay.
Angelo, in the meantime, it would be great if you can translate what he's, or you can just summarize what he's telling in Sinhala, so that the majority of us will understand well.
No problem. I mean, shall I give a quick presentation and then we can start with questions? Or?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Okay, great. Hi, Aibong, everyone. Samarak wala mateka mira kaling kata karla etti. Mama ada meeting eකට ගෙනාවා මගේ ලොකුම client කෙනෙක්. එයාගේ නම Max Fiano. Max Fiano වැඩ කරලා තියෙනවා දැන් අවුරුදු 20ක් 30ක් ට්‍රේඩර් කෙනෙක් වශයෙන් Wall Street වැඩ කරලා තියෙනවා. එයාගේම ඇල්ගොරිතම් කම්පනියක් එයාට තියෙනවා. අපිත් එක්ක මාත් එක්ක දැන් අවුරුදු දෙකක් තුනක් විතර ට්‍රේඩ් කරලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මං හිතුවා අදට එයාව ගේන්න මේ ලෙක්චර් එකට. එතකොට දැන් ඔයාලා හැමදාම කසුන් කියන එක අහන් ඉන්නවා මමත් කියන එක අහන් ඉන්නවා. ඉතින් මං හිතුවා ගැස් කෙනෙක් ගේන්න කියලා ඒක ඔයාලට වෙනස් පර්ස්පෙක්ටිව් එකක් ලබා ගන්න. එහෙනම් ඉතින් අපි questions එක්කම කෙලින්ම පටන් ගමු.
ඒකත් හොඳයි ඇන්ජලෝ. අපි පොඩ්ඩක් කියන්නේ මැක්ස්ගේ බැක්ග්‍රවුන්ඩ් එක කොහොමද කියලා කියන එක, and how is getting to this, and what kind of experience he's got, something like that.
Perfetto, Max, io ho fatto un piccolo riassunto, ma veramente breve, quindi forse è meglio se mi dici tu un po' come hai iniziato a lavorare in questo settore, e poi da lì come sei finito a Wall Street e poi come sei arrivato a oggi.
In italiano o in inglese? Come lo devo
Come
spiegare?
tu, italiano, inglese, per te è uguale.
Perché vedo che loro parlano inglese, cioè capiscono.
Sì. Vai, allora fai direttamente tu in inglese.
Okay, so it's a long story, but I'll try to make it as short as possible. I was a pilot for 11 years.
You was a pilot, okay.
Yeah, I used to be a pilot for 11 years. I came to the United States. Actually, I was born in Rome, but raised in New York. And basically, I was a pilot for 11 years. And then, unfortunately, 9/11 was the moment of recognition. Basically, I lost my job. I used to have also a flying school. I used to own 12 aircraft. And then, of course, I lost everything literally in a day. And I used to work also for Northwest Airlines, now Delta. And so basically, after 9/11, I used to, I wasn't a US citizen as of yet. So President Bush basically banned everybody had a green card in the cockpit to sterilize the cockpit. And so basically the FBI did an extensive research to all the pilots that were not US citizen. And so basically, you know, the airline basically furloughed me or basically fired me. I lost also the flying school, but this was also a blessing because I was, I used to know a good friend of mine that was working in Wall Street and basically gave me a chance to, you know, approach Wall Street, which, you know, I was always fascinated by markets and stocks and Forex. So basically I went to Orlando, Florida. I got a quick training for about 30 days, back to New York and back to work. As soon as I got the job in Wall Street, I got lucky because I got a job with a company called, it was a management group that was part of Morgan Chase. And it was what they call the high risk management. And they were working on the foreign exchange. At the time in 2003, foreign exchange wasn't a no retail, it was only for banks. And so I was able to approach Forex and called Forex, foreign exchange. And basically MT4 was approaching with the first chart. And this is how basically everything started. We were like 350 guys and girls on a beautiful floors with all the screens and we start trading. But then of course with experience, you know, year by year, I was able to be an analyst for the company and I was able to figure out the crash in 2007. And that was basically my launch pad for my job because I was able to identify a market crash before anyone, you know, was able to basically identify. And basically at the time we were trading very heavily on the pound yen and it was very correlated to the stock market. As Aussie yen, pound yen, dollar yen was very correlated. I was able to identify the market crash and indeed it happened. So basically this is how everything started. But in the meantime, we were developing a software and inside the company to trade basically automatically. In 2004 and 2005, nobody was able to, or nobody were able to trade automatically. There was all manual trading. You can imagine trading 700 or $1 billion just using the click of a mouse. So it was quite an experience. So basically the floor was divided, you know, we were like a $1.5 billion and the floor was divided by 200, 300 guys. And they were splitting those 1.5 billion basically to each desk by 5, 6 guys, you know, all close together. And so whoever was most successful in trading, they were taking the majority of, they were taking basically the majority of the big chunk of the account. And so it was very risky because, you know, at the time, yeah, we were doing some technical analysis, but, you know, the market does what it does. So, you know, you might be right, but you might be wrong. So, you know, and so we started to develop a software and basically in base of indicators, in base of momentums. It was a quite complex at the time because the tools that we had at the time was extremely primitive. So, you know, but it was quite an experience because I was able to kind of understand the basic or the blueprint, how the system works. And then, of course, the bank, started to develop and call engineers from India, from Japan, from United States. So they were called quantum engineers. And we were working together to figure out, okay, what the market does. Most of the time, the market does what it does in base of a psychological momentum, not as much as a fundamental, but also psychological. So everybody does the same thing. It's like when you get up in the morning, the first thing you do, you get a cup of tea, or I get a cup of coffee because I'm Italian. And I do everything systematic, and I get up in the bed at the same time, I get a coffee at the same time, I take a shower at the same time, and the market does the same thing. And so this was the blueprint, it was the basic about, okay, how we can implement it, this psychological momentum, and verify if indeed this has happened. So we did an extensive research for a year or two, and we verified that every moment or every year or every month, the market goes up and the market goes down. And the most obvious market which identified this psychological momentum was the WTI, also known as the oil, when you trade oil. The oil, basically, the WTI goes down during the fall and it goes up on the spring because it goes by the momentum, psychological momentum of the human being. You understand me? So it was very complex, I was so fascinated that I got so much into it. And then we finally started developing what they call the high frequency trading. Why high frequency trading? Because the high frequency, what it does not expose the account to the risk. Because when the momentum goes down in a matter of a second, a matter of a tick, it's open the trade and then it immediately close in a matter of less than a second. But it will do it repeatedly as a high frequency. Now you're going to say, how much money am I going to make if I open the trade for just a second? Well, if you open 300 lots and you make it 1 pip, you're making almost 30 grand. But if you repeatedly, in a matter of a minute, you're doing 10 times the same, the same cycle, you're going to make a lot of money. So this is basically what we would develop. And then, of course, in 2006 and 2007, I was able to literally identify this cycle. And when my boss at the time, I expressed, hey, the market is about reached the peaking point. We're about to fall, doing an extensive analysis, doing the psychological analysis. I mean, all together, we identified that the market indeed was about to crash, and it did crash. And that basically was my fortune, because as soon as I got, the 2007, 2008, it was right on target. We were shorting, AIG, we were shorting Lehman Brothers, we were shorting everything about banks, and we made a lot of money. The company made a lot of money. I got a big bonus, and I became the director of the same floor when I got a job. And so I was basically managing 200-300 guys on the high frequency trading on the new program. So this is basically
and that's where we are now.
And that's where we are now. And then I don't want to go further, because otherwise I'm going to run another 30 minutes.
A couple of hours.
It's quite interesting, though.
Yeah, no, it is very interesting. Kasun, do I need to translate that? Translate Karana the questions,
I think, I think if you can summarize a bit, I think that would be great in Sinhala, because a lot of guys.
Sure, of course.
Especially, especially the pronunciation.
Everything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and translate 12 minutes of conversation. But I'll try and keep it brief.